People from, out of state, I tell them what they do. Now, is that on the coast? No. Well, don't you live on the coast? No. There's actually another area.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I get a kick out of Somerset County. People drive all the way to Jackson. They think they're in, north in the county, and that's like halfway to the 2/3 mark.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot.
It is. Oh, yeah.
North of there.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You gotta go to Tacoma.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in Somerset.
Well, when I was addressing Big Six Township, I found the easiest way to get there was drive through Quebec and then
Yeah.
tank.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That one.
All right, so I got that. Just in case.
Except up you.
Yeah, there's not many people up there. There's a lot
Now,
of land.
yeah. Now, so, but there's not many people up there. Where's the line that you're imagining? Because I mean, it could be a lot lower than what you're.
To me, if you're above the Golden Road, you're getting in the northern part of Somerset County. Done addressing along the Golden Road and a few places to the north. Did Big Six Township because that was a request.
Mm-hmm.
I get such a kick out of that because you've got a single lane wood bridge across what looks like a stream, and in reality, it's Penobscot River. No, that's the St. John River there. And we have a border crossing on our side, and on the Canadian side, you've got to go up to a little strip mall, and there's a little office up there that's the border crossing. That's the office you're supposed to go into.
Is that time?
It's that time.
Is that time?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. And we are out of order, an hour early, but on time. Minutes, resolution 2643 to accept the minutes from the meeting of March 4th, 2026.
So move.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I wasn't there.
Scott from the.
All right. Any discussion?
I was going to say, I wish it said I just was unable to attend instead of being absent because I would have liked to have been here. Sorry to miss the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, you were in Florida.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Thank you. Public comment to allow members of the public to comment or reserve time to speak on an upcoming agenda item. No one from the public is here. Doesn't seem to be anybody online. Workshop, resume discussion of FY27 draft budget, starting with the county extension office request. Any considerations on that? I would like to see them get the money that they asked for. I think it's important. Money does come back to the county for the money that's spent. I saw a couple of reports where they claim it's $17 for every $1 spent. I looked further into that. It's more like $7 for every $1 spent, actually, for Somerset County. But I know that's what the president of the said, Alan Richmond.
So, as I understand it, we're making up the difference from what the state used to. The state used to support the position of benefits, and now they won't do that, so we are filling that gap.
They're asking us, actually, they're saying fill the benefits or lose the personnel. But we have our constituents to consider.
No, but I was just wondering,
Yeah.
is this just a one-year deal, or do we expect that we'll be doing this henceforward? They're not going to come back in later and say, our hiring pause is over, and now we're willing to do this.
So that's the thing. This is for FY 2027.
Right.
Who knows?
We just come-
They may have the hiring freeze done by then.
Right. We don't know. It could be a one-time thing, but but we might have to revisit it next year too.
But if the hiring freeze is over next month, does that mean we don't have to spend?
Right, they shouldn't have to spend the money, or they can
Right.
get money twice.
I'm in favor.
Any other discussion, Scott?
I really love for you and his phone back that refuses to be in by that time, and I just don't see it necessary for us to pay that up when all the system should be made. So,
Well, I understand that, and I appreciate that. But don't we owe it to our constituents to make sure that they have the services that they're expecting and looking forward to?
I believe they'll have those services on it.
If they do have those services one way or the other, that would mean that we wouldn't have to extend the money that we allocated.
You know, if we approve this budget, we pay them. We don't wait for them to submit bills. So whatever you approve is paid to them. And we don't require any report, financial reports to prove that they spent that money on what they did.
So if next month they said we're willing to pay that, you're not saying we can back out of it? I mean,
No, what I'm saying is whatever we put in the budget is what we do.
And I'm of the mind, it's not a whole lot different than, our average constituent out there if they get laid off or some sort of shutdown or something like that. This is not something, just because it's a University of Maine, it's their responsibility, right? I mean, they've created these positions. It's service to our community, but I don't see where, their actions, we need to fill those gaps for that. I mean, especially with the way things are right now. I mean, property taxes are through the roof, and income taxes are through the roof. I mean, people are struggling, and to ask them for more, it's just not something that I'm in favor of.
Okay. Any other comments or considerations?
it's $16,000, right? Plus change.
Yep, $16,596.60.
And without this, there'll just be one person working there instead of 1.5, or
Well, in theory, you are still funding that position, just not the benefits, so they could be working part-time instead of what they normally do. So it's not that you're not funding the position, it's just they're not going to be able to utilize it for as much time.
okay. Well, I mean, I'm going to vote in favor. I think where the county sort of interfaces with the public is.
Well, actually, it's not. There's not a resolution.
Oh, okay.
So we won't be voting on it this time. This is just our workshop.
Okay, well, it sounds like we have a tie on this issue right
Well,
now.
it is in the sense that if we're going to transmit or send over the budget to the budget committee, you're going to need to come to some type of agreement on how to fund it.
We should do that today
Yeah.
with a resolution.
Well, we have a resolution later
Do we?
today to transfer or, I don't know,
The whole thing.
send the budget to the budget committee. If you don't agree on this, then we can't say.
Well, I forget how we do this.
I don't think that we have to
get new agenda items
We
up.
took it out of the budget last time, didn't we?
What's
It wasn't in the budget last time.
No, because it was. There was a 1.5 positions in the budget. We paid for the salary side. University of Maine paid for the benefits.
Right.
The issue this time is there's still 1.5 positions in there.
Right.
It's just University of Maine is not paying the benefits of the part-time person.
Right.
So we're not decreasing our funding for the wages. It was University of Maine when it comes to benefits.
So are you saying we don't really need a specific resolution on this? It just,
I don't think we do.
Well, you have to come to an agreement on what you'll put in the budget.
On the budget, right.
Before we can submit the budget to the budget.
But we don't have that extra $16,000 in the budget.
Yeah, it's currently in the budget. Their request is currently in the budget.
Oh, I
The
see.
request is for $82,961.60. The question is, do we want to keep that or not?
because ordinarily, we would expect sort of a reimbursement from the state for those.
No, we never pay for it. Because there's a hiring freeze at the University of Maine, they will not approve the hiring of a position for those funds. Okay? So the only portion of the funds that they have currently is the wage portion that we gave them in our budget.
Okay, so if we decide, I mean, it's close, but let's say we decide we do not want to do this, we do not want to spend this money.
Right.
What do we have to do to get our
You
budget
have to come
to?
to an agreement on what the number should be. See, I took the labor portion out of it, and I added the $850 increase to last year's budget. So the budget would be $67,215. That will approve the amount that was approved last year, plus the $850 increase that they had in the public budget,
But not the 16,000.
but not the $15,000.
Currently, the part that we're referring to is the benefits is not in here.
It is.
It is in here. So the vote would be if I do not want to cover the University of Maine's shortfall on providing benefits, I would need to vote for removing that piece from it
You would have to.
When we get down to resolution
at
2650,
that point in time.
you would amend the budget. Regarding the,
This is the workshop. You guys can change the budget in the workshop. If you want me to reduce that number, all you have to do is come to an agreement and I reduce it. When it comes to the time for the
Workshop is to approve
vote,
everything.
is to approve the final product.
Well, Mr. Chairman, why don't we have sort of a mini agenda item addressing this particular issue, and we would vote whether or not to approve the 67 number that you said.
We've never done that in the past.
I'm just trying to figure a vehicle to kind of get this thing resolved.
It is, in the sense that when we're working through the budget, if you see an item that you want to lower or increase, you come to a consensus and just say increase that item or decrease that item, and that's what's changed. At the very end, when we transfer it to the budget committee, if you want, what we usually do is just put the total amount of the budget. We transfer 15 million, whatever, to the budget committee for their review assumption. So you don't have to have an official.
Isn't that what we do? We're not really consensus people here. We vote.
If you want the
That's how you develop the consensus. I know where.
if you want the resolution, go.
Well, I just think we need to have clarity on what we decide.
it doesn't matter because if we have an amendment in the resolution to remove it, it would not pass because there's probably a impasse here.
Right. My assumption is that today it would be a 2-2 vote.
Yeah.
It's not going to move anywhere.
Right.
So I guess my question would be in the budget hearing process, if that's what it's actually called. So when we're with the budget committee,
Yeah.
Can it be noted that we did bring up a vote on this and there was no consensus?
Yeah.
It was a tie. It was basically a tie.
Yeah.
Because a couple of weeks from now, I'm not. As we go through this, I mean, it's going to be like,
Yeah. Well, it's kind of small potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It
So
basically
we can make a note of that.
right, because in the way, I guess, on paper works, is when you hand it over to the budget committee, really what you need to do is argue for or the budget that you approve.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're against that line and you approve the budget, then you're in agreement with that line. Because when you agree to the budget, pass it over to the budget committee, that's when you.
So at this point in time, if I'm hearing you correctly, then because we're not able to adjust this line in a way that I feel we should, I should not agree with the entire budget at this point in time.
Right, but I haven't heard.
one way of doing it, but you still have a.
But I haven't heard that everybody's not in agreement the way you want to change it. You guys went around and said your points,
Right.
but there was no discussion.
Well, that's what, okay, I don't want to labor this point, but if we had a simple resolution saying we vote of having that number be 67, whatever that number was you gave us, which would be everything minus what the state ordinarily contributes, and we voted that, well, I guess if we voted 2-2, we'd get nowhere. But
Right. Why don't you just?
if you had an affirmative thing like,
Right.
Who's in favor to reducing it to 67 to 15?
you and Scott,
Robert, Dawn, I believe, is going to be coming on in a moment.
Oh.
That's Rochelle's just letting me know.
oh, sounds like 3-2. It's 3-2.
Okay.
Well, there it goes.
I have a feeling it's 3-2.
He was going to go down and get Carvel to get him on real quick.
Okay. Tiebreaker.
Those odd numbers, right?
Can we come back to this? And
Now you get to do it all again.
Scott, did you have something you wanted to say?
I know it's fine if we need to figure this out. I know that maybe we're getting the budget. The money, maybe I don't think we need to absorb that money, which the call should somehow go. So,
Yep. Okay.
Once we start on the next three kind of run together.
yeah, why don't we circle back to this one and keep going?
Yeah, we'll circle
Yeah,
back.
but once we get into the next one, I would suggest that we continue A, B, C, B, C, D before we go back to A.
Right.
All integrate into each other.
Well, when is Dawn coming on?
She was going right down. He just called and said he wants on. And so I said, go, Carvel would send him the link. So she was going right down to get Carvel to do that.
All right. We just take a moment and let him link up. That's why we started early today.
Is that why we did it? I'm so glad somebody reminded me, because I've got it in my calendar basically every other week for the entire year.
Yeah.
Which electronic age has kind of made me lazy. I'll admit it. I'm counting on this technology a lot.
Yeah. So
It's the human condition.
Is that what it is?
It's the world we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, lazy is the right word. I've just filled that time with probably twice as much.
Yeah. Of course.
you've just become more efficient.
I don't know if I'd use that word either.
Oh.
Do we have that first budget meeting scheduled already?
For the budget committee? No, because
Oh.
we're not guaranteed to have a budget approved.
Is there kind of a ballpark?
Ballpark?
Is there a ballpark sort of week or?
No, it's totally up to them. What I do is I send the first draft up to them, ask them the dates, I put up a sheet together, try to find when we have at least 6 of them that can make a night.
But I've got to be away in the very end. Would it be in the end of April? Or?
It's their meeting, so they
I'm just trying to. When was it last year? It's just kind of historically. Is there a pattern?
it's.
There he is.
I usually I give them a month spent on it, and
Okay.
we just
Commissioner Skills, there you are. I can see you.
I'm sorry, I know it's so long having locked out so my iPad has a problem if the county isn't working, so I've been trying to get my emails. So we're on.
Good. Yeah, we
Yeah,
see it.
here you are. Okay. So we have a full contingent. We were discussing the county extension office request. Okay. Oh, and we have Scott.
Hey, Scott, you're here.
So I guess the question is, do we proceed with the budget as drafted with the county extension office request? Or no?
I would suggest the same that I did during the budget meeting, that the entire part-time person, this was only for a benefit portion of the budget, and that was the university that cut back. So unfortunately, I'm probably going to sign with Commissioner Pepkus on this one, in agreement that we would cut that portion of it, and also they would hire that part-time person with all the benefits, or figure out a way around it.
Well, I'm hearing a 3-2 vote on
Yeah, so-
not doing that. Move on.
I
You should
yeah,
probably
I would say,
actually call technically for a vote so that your butt is covered. Right? We'll do that in the,
well,
at the end. Where do we do it? Or-
right now, we're going to remove that 16,000 plus from the budget under the
Or,
county extension office request.
well, how about just removing the 15,746.60, which is related to the benefits, and
Okay,
including the $850 they needed for the other.
all right, yeah,
So move.
yeah, good.
What did he say? Yeah.
What do you think?
What do you think? All right. So we're all good with that?
Second.
So based on that, the final budget amount will be $67,215.
Okay. So we're all clear on that, and we're moving forward. To review of capital reserve balances.
Okay, during the end of last meeting, there was discussion on utilizing some of the undesignated fund balance for capital. And so I got with Tim, we were working on developing a, if you want to say, a capital strategy for Somerset County on how we go from here to onto the future years.
Right.
In that, I went on and I did some research to get some benchmark data on what is a typical, I guess, $25 million county budget in Maine should support for the capital portion of the budget. And it's between 5 to 10% of the total, if you want to say our total budget should be dedicated for capital revenue, which is, capital funding, which is basically between 1.25 to 2.25 million. The last 6 years, our average has been 1.5 million. So we're just slightly above the actual minimum amount. So in doing that, we said, well, if we want to develop a capital strategy, we should decide. First thing we should decide on how much do we want for, if you want to say, a emergency / buffer reserve. It's basically at any point in time we should have this amount of money in our capital reserve. Okay, in the sense that, let's say at the end of the year we've spent all our capital projects for that year. What is the balance of that reserve that we should have for emergencies? Just in case something that wasn't planned comes up. Or, on the other hand, have a portion of reserve of something that we know is coming up, so we don't have to raise as much for taxation. So this buffer, emergency reserve, will have two factors. Something hits us during the year that we didn't plan for will help us offset what we have to increase next year for. Or two, if next year, I'm going to use the jail as an example, we know we need to replace the roof, we're going to have this portion already sitting there so we don't have to raise as much. So it's a twofold factor on this.
But isn't that two separate accounts? The jail is separate then from the
Yes.
other capital fund.
Yeah.
The jail has its own capital fund because we have to rely that because we also have the jail cap
Right.
to
But I think
To
you
work
have
on.
it already in your paperwork, but I balances in case.
Yeah.
Yes, it's two.
Yeah.
We're setting two different, if you want to say, reserve emergency balance. And since everything is really covered for the total expense, I guess the plan that we put together, me and Tim, ties it to total expenses. So right now, this draft that's put in front of you says for the general fund, we suggest that we use 4% of the total expenses, which is $562,000 as the baseline for what we use for this reserve balance. Okay, for the jail, because jail actually has more capital requirements than the rest of the county, we said we would like to use 6% of their total expense, which is roughly $740,000. So that's what we're looking in the sense that for the whole county would basically have 1.3 million that is set out there for emergency / reserve balance that would always be can be utilized for emergencies or can be utilized to offset a future budget that has a large capital requirement.
So the number in the right hand bottom corner, FY 2023-2025. So what does that signify?
Well, there's 3 steps. There's more steps to this. One, we have to decide if we want to have a reserve out there for this. And if we do, what's the amount? Because that will entail tell me what we need for this budget. Because you're going to take that reserve balance you want. You're going to take the current budget amount that we are forecasting to spend next year, and we're going to subtract what we currently have in reserves. Okay, we currently have roughly 1.9 million in reserves. Okay, so I need to know what you want as the base plus next year take away what we currently have, and that will tell me what needs to be in this budget to make that happen.
But I don't know that we can use the 1.9 million in aggregate. It has to be.
No, it's tied between the two caps. I don't mix jail funding with general funding.
Except when you add them both together, then they get mixed and it confuses people.
Okay. Okay, you got 1 million that you're going to use in general fund and roughly 700 million that you're going to use in the jail.
Not 700 million.
That's 700.
700.
We could build a new jail with that. A new jail.
Sorry. No, 700.
Okay, yeah.
So I wasn't here for the last meeting when this first came up. But what have we done in prior years with this?
We haven't set what we've done in prior years is we try to allocate some funds to be held for future projects, but we've never set really a benchmark to follow.
So this is over and above
This,
what our prediction for cruises for next year is. Kind of a rainy day fund almost. Plus,
it is,
yeah, okay.
but like I said, it's twofold. The jail is getting to be close to 20 years, over 20 years old.
2008.
Yeah.
And this big ticket items coming out. But is it right to say, well, we're going to build a $3 to $4 million reserve for the jail to cover the roof, cover the coolers, cover all this different thing, or do we come to a different number in which helps protect against it, but doesn't put as much burden on the taxpayer?
So, I mean, outside of the jail, right, emergency type situations that we weren't counting on, is there some sort of historical information on, okay, what has come up and how much should it cost at certain periods of time?
Not really, because the jail's been new, and unfortunately, the jail.
But outside of, so this isn't just for the jail, right? This is for other potential issues. But it's the large chunk, so that.
No, the jail has its own capital account because the jail is,
Look
It's
at
separate.
that. We're gonna spend roughly $600,000 to $800,000 a year. But that shouldn't be an emergency. We got this building, we got the comm center, we got the EMA, and we got the jail. The other buildings, if there's items that go wrong, in it, we're not talking $1 million. But when you're looking at the jail,
So the jail is like the high water mark, which is just, there's no sense in really looking at the little data.
right?
But this is not for a cruiser fleet 3 years down the road. That's always going to be in the annual budget for the sheriff's office or the jail for vehicles and those sort of capital expenditures. We're talking about above and beyond the routine vehicle replacement, et cetera, for sort of catastrophic events
Well-
and major maintenance that we can't exactly predict.
Well, if you look at that sheet, it actually breaks down for the general fund. The general fund sheet shows the makeup of the 570,000 in the yellow column that will be the reserve for.
But aren't those already in our budget? Those?
No, this is a whole new concept
Okay.
on actually putting something out there to be able to explain what and why you have these reserves.
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
if we were to do this, define two recommendations, what would that do to the percentages that we talked about earlier on either just can we fund it with the reserve money that we have? And we fully fund the signature. So we have our set aside our insurance accounts, so to speak, or something like that. What does that do to those percentages in the future years if we grab that?
Okay, we will get that to the fund balance, but the answer to your question is, this year would be roughly 3%. The forecast next year is going to be roughly 3%. Then the year after that's going to be around 5 or low 5. And then the years after that could be between 6 and 7. Because if this is put in place as it sits, it's going to increase the capital budget by roughly, is it 700,000?
Well, we're not going to have to fund it for the year. With interest. Was funded once with this money that we have. Choosing right now is whether or not we're going to offset multiple years for these reserve accounts. So this be fully funded, we can let the safety run and we take care of the insurance part of it, actually, so to speak.
It's not going to grow unless you put additional funds in. The interest does not go into these individual capital accounts. The interest goes into the finance department that is utilized to overset that. So that's why, though, that we're tying it to total expense. So these once you decide on what percentage you would like the total expense to build these reserves, it will adjust as years go on. As things get more expensive, this balance as a percentage will stay the same to the total.
I do believe it's important to have reserve accounts for these large events. I need a show on the roof, a freezer at the jail. If, to answer John's question, I believe if they have to purchase all these cruisers in that given year and we have a claim and have to buy a cruiser, money can come out here for those things in the events that something off schedule happens. I would rather just have a safety net than no safety net.
Well, once again, we have to strike that balance between what we can ask the taxpayers to pay and what, in the best of all possible worlds, would be the right amount of money to have in the account. We got to thread the needle again, I guess.
Well,
I don't know where to begin on that. So.
if we don't maintain our capital accounts, we're going to end up in the same situation that Washington County ended up in.
Yeah.
So you can't just spend all the capital accounts.
Right.
You have to maintain a certain balance.
Right. That's one of the big issues that they had was their
Yeah.
accounts with drainage.
So,
And in fact, I think that to do it any other way is not transparent in the sense that the real increase is the 5.5% this year. We're offsetting it by money we have set aside from years past, savings of staff and employees and wages, etc. I think we're better served to give the public the real figure, closer to the real figure of what the increase is this year, than to diminish that with some kind of one-time savings, which is what we have here. Put it in the fund, keep it as a security blanket. That would be my opinion. That's just it.
So Patrick, you had said, so, I mean, we're gonna have a fund with somewhere around $1 million sitting in there, and you brought up the interest, so the interest doesn't go directly back into this fund, it goes somewhere else, correct?
It goes against the operating budget.
why can't it
So
go?
the interest
Why,
helps pay for the,
And
okay.
it actually helps paying for this cap. But it's next year, the interest is going to be in the operating budget, helping pay for the budget, not going against these capital, making them grow.
We can always block that money.
That's
If they have
That's what I was thinking, right? That's what I was,
put that 50 into the capital account for next year.
or is there even, you know, I mean, if we had agreed on it, is there an automatic trigger?
Right. The automatic trigger would be setting a percentage of your total expense. So if we say 4% is the accurate number to use for the general fund, next year's budget goes up by whatever, million. 4% of that million would be considered part of this. So it would help push that balance up. You see what I'm saying? By fixing it to your total expense, as your total expense goes up, these reserves will go up.
and we're using the interest from that as income for the general budget, essentially.
So, in a roundabout way, if your expenses continue to go up, the this problem.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, as our expenses go up, the actual amounts in these reserves. Go up.
Except when we spend them.
What's that?
Except when we spend them.
No, well, that's the thing, though. Bringing me back to, it doesn't have to be just an emergency.
No, because
If we get to the year where we have to replace the roof, it's 1.5 million.
Often a big spend.
Right. Then we say, well, I know we say it should be 6%, but for this year, let's put it at maybe 1%, and then over the next 5 years, let's build it back up. So it's a way to try to soften the blow of it.
and we already know that we need essentially 6 chillers, but if we can replace them 2 at a time, then we're covered over a 3-year period. And then we need to do that because they are aging out.
What's your recommendation? How much? What's the number?
What's the
I
number?
mean, what should we?
Well, I don't think the 1.3 is outlandish in the sense that because we actually currently have 1.9.
I don't know. We currently have 1 point.
We currently have 1.9 in the gap to spend.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't think the 1.3 is outrageous. It's not to the point where you've got said 2 or 3 million for the jail to cover the chillers, to cover the roof, to cover different things. You only got like 700,000. So that wouldn't even cover one of the big events. It's just there to assist if it happens.
No, but we were already going to spend some of that 1.9 on a boiler, or we're proposing to.
Right.
So the 1.9 is
Right. We're not going to have
is a tricky number.
Yeah, we're not going to have 1.9. That's why I only get 1.7 roughly between the two. We're going to spend something between now
Oh yeah,
and July 1st.
oh yeah.
But I Because even,
What's that, Scott?
He's frozen.
Good question. In terms of the village, isn't it fair to say that those should not be replaced? The gentleman said they replace the cracks, the condition would be so good enough to do that. Or am I thinking of something else?
the sheriff said,
That was in regards to what? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it all, Scott. You're kind of muffled.
he was saying that when it comes to chillers, that the sheriff during the last meeting mentioned that Bill, the maintenance supervisor, was able to rebuild those without actually purchasing new chillers. That's what-
Yes, it's true. And he also said it was getting more difficult because they're obsolete and it's harder to find parts. So he had suggested we change out 2 this year, and 2 next year, and 2 the following year. You're gone, Scott. Sorry. So the sheriff has returned.
Oh, and Scott is kind of.
I apologize,
That's all right.
trying to get hold of the county administrator. The committee he just testified in front of has turned around, they're going to go right back in the work session, and he is well. So we're trying to get him back in the committee.
You wait for him to leave. We were talking about capital gains on the capitals on the jail, and particularly the 6 chillers on the roof that need replacing.
12.
12.
I believe it's 12. So I did meet with the chief maintenance guy. I think the county would be better served if that he believes after our conversation, he can keep them running without problems. But they are old, the motors are old, the fans are old. If we had a plan to replace 2 a year, instead of replacing all of them, that would save the county taxpayer quite a bit of money.
Yeah, and I think we agree on that. We just didn't. I'm sorry, I thought it was 6, not 12.
And
But
I can find out the exact.
but that's all right. We're looking at either 3 or 6 years.
Right. But he assured me, as much as you can with mechanical things, that that with a plan to replace a couple each year, the county would be okay.
Oh no, that's good. I was just wondering, on top of that, if the old ones that were replaced, if some of those parts could be cannibalized in case something happened to the other ones that are existing.
I can't nail 2 boards together, so I would have to have another conversation with him about that. I'm sure there are some parts. He is very good with that sort of stuff.
But that would be my suggestion.
Yeah.
You'd keep those old ones as potential.
I can have an answer for you next time around. I'll meet with him again. But.
All right.
Bill knows what a junkyard is, so he'll be good.
You know, Bill.
I know him very well.
He can put the things together that
Yeah.
you wouldn't think you could do that.
Yep.
We're lucky to have it.
Let's say. Oh. Okay. So I guess the question is, do we want to give this a roll? Yeah, I do too.
Me too. Good enough.
I think we all want to keep our capital reserves healthy.
And that's a combination of 2.
All right.
So if I understand this right, Pat, where we have more than that in the capital account now, what happens what happens with, because we're basically sliding that over to this new idea, correct?
Correct. It's really, from this point forward, we'll use this as our, we're, write up some type of, standard or something.
So
This is what.
at this point, what we've been discussing is capital reserves really for the jail. Boiler, chillers. How much will that affect the jail capital account?
Well, the thing is, I know you want to keep them, but for example, let's say we go with these reserves. The roof goes, we need 1.5 million. We got 700,000 for the jail, but we got 500,000 in the general fund. During the next budget cycle, you can eat into the reserve of the general fund by reducing it, as well as the jail at the same time to help offset the jail. You see what I'm saying? That both of these caps go to the taxpayers.
Right.
Lower if by chance you have to increase the jail, but you can lower the general fund, they'll offset each other.
Just in terms of taxation.
Taxation.
The overall fund.
So basically the 1.3 million that you have out there can't be, if you want to see, spent over the lines, but can be utilized to offset future budgets.
Right. And that blends into how it affects the jail cap, or how the jail cap affects the.
If we leave this at this is going to be 752,000 increase in capital from the last version of the budget you saw. Only 274,000 of that will go towards the taxpayer, because 478,000 of that is related to the jail. Okay.
Right.
And the jail cap is going to stay at the 6.9. So this 478,000 is not going to hit the taxpayers this year.
But is that actually a healthy thing to do, to leave the jail cap at 6.9?
I think when we get to the jail cap, I think everything works out. We can hold the jail cap this year and next year. Then the year after, we have to look at just increasing by 4%.
But you only be able to increase it by 4%.
Right.
So
but if we wait any longer than 2029 to increase it, I think we'll have to go to the legislature to increase it more than 4%. But I'm hoping, based on the forecast, that we can live within the 4% if we do it starting in the year 2023.
But in this current economic climate, I don't know that we'll be able to make
right, but
hold the line at 6.9. Sure.
There's two things going on, right? So what Tim was testifying today was to the $8 million on top of that, $20.28 million.
Right.
Which, I mean, we'll see about $200,000 of that. Plus we have the revenue from the outside the jail. I would like to see the caps for this year at least stay for 6.9.
See, this is going to be a living document. I say we can hold it for 2 years. We may get into next year's budget cycle.
That's yeah.
Right, but I don't think we have to do it this year. I think we're okay this year. Next year might be a different discussion.
It has been in essence, you're correct in the fact that we're raising the cap, putting this money in the bank, you know what I'm saying, zero. So we have it there, although we're not raising the cap, I think we're doing the best thing for the taxpayer. We're keeping it at the 6.9, we're also putting money in the savings, and the event something happens, so we try to cover both sides of the bridge, in my opinion. That's very simple.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not convinced, but
Well, there'll be more discussion when we get down to D. That's when we're going to have to look at how it's going to affect future years.
right.
So if you're in agreement,
I'm in agreement to utilizing this capital reserve balance formula,
to dictate what's in the budget.
right, at this point in time.
Is that consensus?
Well, everybody, good. Looks like it's
Okay,
consensus.
jail cap. We already started the discussion here on that. Sorry, gentlemen, I'll pull it up on my screen so maybe you can see it. Okay, I'll walk you through the form once I get it up.
Okay. Well, here. That's what we're looking to replace.
Okay. Yeah. Good luck. I'll make it larger so you see at least the first few years.
Great, thank you.
That help any? Okay. The first column I have where it says total expense, these are the total jail expense. So for FY 2027, with the adjustments in the capital, total expenses are at $12,385,562.75. Okay. Of that, I'm utilizing roughly $380,000 of undesignated fund balance in the jail budget. But for this future calculation, if you see the column over, the couple columns over, where it says additional funds needed, there's $200,000. I'm saying in actuality, I think we'll get some savings in the budget, and we only need to use $200,000 balance. The current fund balance that we have in the jail is the next column over, where it says $4 million, roughly, a little over $4 million. And then the next group is the tax cap, where we're going to be at 6.9. And then if you look over, there's an accumulated column of the change, and then the by this column over is the running balance jail and designated fund balance. Okay. So I think we can hold it, and when it comes to the jail expenses, each year I'm using a net 2% change. So I assume that between the revenue coming in and the expenses that we incur, the net change in the budget is going to be 2% each year. Okay. So that's why it's the net change 2%. So for year 2028, I show that the jail budget expenses will go up by roughly $250,000.
Why do you think it's going to be 2%? Why not 4%?
This is aggressive, but it's assuming that some of the expenses are going to be offset by revenue. Whether it's if we, get more jail inmates from outside counties, if we increase the rate that we're charging or something, this is aggressive because I don't want to build something that if I put 4% in there, we should start gathering the 4% years ago. I'll just for the heck of it, I'll change this to 4%. Just this 1 year. See those numbers over in the far undesignated column?
Right.
Because that extra 2% is increasing each of the ones below it.
Right.
So yes, we do end up having 4% increase, then we're going to have to revisit it.
We revisit this every year,
I know,
so
but we've been able to handle it. And if for some reason our jail expenses go over our budget, then yeah, we may have to go to the legislature and ask for a larger increase. But right now, our net increase hasn't been, it's been 2.5%. So I can build, believe me, I'm probably more conservative than any one of you. I can, but I guess I want to try to be realistic to the taxpayers also.
Right.
It's hard to dictate what this should be. The problem that we have is our cap is basically half our expenses. So if our expenses go up 2%, half is going to go up 4%, match 2%.
Right.
So if our expenses go up 4%, our tax cap is going to go up 8%, match it. Because our tax cap is half of what our expenses are, because we're filling the rest of it with federal borders, other county borders, other revenues covering the state. So, yes, we could get into a big hole if we have 2 or 3 years in which our expenses go up 8%.
Right.
But do we want to I think we
I guess one of the other questions is, if we raise the tax cap, do we go to that level?
No, you don't have to go to 4%. You can keep it lower. But I would suggest for this year, leave it as is. Hopefully I don't eat my hat next year. But we'll revisit again next year, and if our actual expenses go up by 3 or 4%, then, if let's say FY 2028, our expenses go up by 4%, okay, let's say we can't hold the cap, we increase that by 4%, we're still going to be okay.
And
See?
just for clarity, the tax cap only applies to the jail expenses.
Right. Right, but I'm only using jail expenses.
I know we're only using jail
Yeah.
expenses now.
So even if it goes up 4%, I can move the jail cap up 4%, and look, it covers it.
And this is where the 6.5, 19% over 3 years in legal weight is, we need to be judicious when we're having these negotiations. And I know we're going to be in the midst of one again with this union. Just every time we look at the wage numbers, it's going to change that. Is where we're going to get, we got to be judicious when we think about these things.
So I think we're good for another year. I would like to say we could hold it for 2028, but we'll have that discussion when we get there.
I think this is a year by year,
Oh, of course it is.
step. And there's pros and cons to raising or keeping the cap the same.
Next year, the sheriff may get another $5 million in revenue. Who knows?
True.
I can only hope.
Then he'll be asking us for another wing.
Well, still got that health, Maine care possibility for next year.
Another 15 million.
May help the jail.
All right. We don't know what the future will bring. If we can hold it this year at this amount, so be it. I think it's Sheriff.
Yeah, we have worked these numbers, and I think it would be for this year, the improvement would stay at the 6.9.
Okay.
And for clarification, we have, the plan is to replace with the air handlers. We have 12 of those.
Yeah.
We have 7 on the roof, 5 inside the building.
Okay.
We have 2 chillers. And meeting with a maintenance guy last week, we've done a scheduled maintenance, deep dive, clean, and replace those parts. We can keep that going.
Great. Okay. Now it's the use of fund balance.
Okay. On this already.
All right.
Should be rehashed.
Well, it's good for the public to know.
Sir?
Know it's on the menu. So we're looking at negative fund balances.
No. That, if you're looking at the undesignated fund balance, this shows you the 5-year plan that I have here.
Right.
Shows you the results. The negative fund balance at the very bottom is the 20%. So if the jail tax cap is at 6.9, our reserve should be roughly 1.4, 20% when it comes to the undesignated fund. That's considered a healthy reserve. When it comes to the county, with I should say FY 2026, no, I mean 27 and 26. If our budget is 8.3 million, we should have roughly 1.7 million in the undesignated fund balance. So that's just subtracting from the balance. The other negatives that you see above that is how are we going to utilize the undesignated fund balance over the next years to try to keep it somewhat level. And that translates into this bigger sheet. Okay? So if you look at under FY 2027, you're utilizing a little over 1 million of the undesignated fund balance to bring us in at a 453,000 increase, which is 3%. You see that?
Kind of distracted by that background noise.
I see it.
What are we looking at again?
The bold print at the bottom of the column, second column in.
Yeah. If you look under FY 2027, over on the right-hand column, way down at the bottom of that box, it says 453, 3%. That's the increase from last year's budget.
That's our 3% increase.
What's that?
That's the 3% increase.
Correct.
Yeah.
Utilizing a little over $1 million in undesignated fund. Our actual increase is, let's see, 3.9%. Okay, that's how we're saying we're pushing stuff down the road.
Yeah.
Okay, if you look at FY 2026, our actual increase was 3%, but our budget was 0. So there was 3% we was pushing down the road.
Right.
Okay, FY 2028, I forecasted that our budget would actually increase by 5%. I did an analysis of the last 6 years, and our general fund budget has increased roughly 9% each year. If I take out the added positions that have been added, it's a 7% increase. So this 5%, I think, is aggressive. I don't think it's outrageous. If I take into consideration the debt, that's how we kept our overall increase down to 2.7 because our debt. So I think we can do another 3% increase in FY 2028, but in 2029, I expect that to go up. And then stay between 6 to 7% for the next 5 years, and then by FY 2034, we should be level. The undesignated fund balance should be back down to the 20%, and we should, whatever we budget is whatever is going to be passed on to the tax. So I think we can hold it relatively level for the next couple of years, but then there's going to be like a 5-year stretch where we have to make up for everything that we saved them in the past. And things may change within the next 2 years. It may even be, hopefully keep it low. Go up even higher than the 6 or 7% I expect.
These are the numbers that you ran for me at 4%.
Well, they're different in the sense that the capital increased. So I had to include that in here.
So if we ran these at 4%, this year the rate where that's future.
If you run the FY 2027 and 28 at 4 or even 5%, that will just reduce the outer years. So instead of 6 or 7% in the outer years, it could be 5 to 6% in the outer years. That's what I have. And I don't think I'm being overly.
It's hard to forecast the future these days.
It is.
Rosy reports from some sources and dire predictions from others,
But
plus what we see every day.
But if we do this, if we continue to do this, I'm not going to try to throw any other counties under the bus, but you should never, unless some sky falls, go out to our tax base and ask for 30 to 40% increase. Like all these other counties are doing that.
Oh, I know, or even 17%, which has happened
Right.
last year.
So, I can't say we won't get up to 8 or 9%. I can't say we won't hit that. But we should try to keep it underneath that in the young years. So if we get to a point where like future years shows 10, 11%, then we need to start eating bullet and start increasing.
And that is what I would agree with. Just because we're over, we're putting it down. And if by taking less, it just.
I agree with
Point two, Don. It's not like we're overspending, right? It's not like we're sending people on vacations all over the place, right? I mean, these are real costs, whether it's energy costs or it's sublocade costs or it's any of these other costs. What are you going to do?
Keeping it level. It's easier to budget a level increase for a long period of time than it is to get spikes in the backs.
So if we did 4% this year, where would we? Where are you?
So you reduce the undesignated fund balance by roughly 125,000 for 28. And you could probably reduce this by 150,000. Like that. But then see your outer years, then you can start start applying some of that reserve, say you want to add another 100,000 that you didn't use. So it helps you level up the outer years, as I'm saying, in the sense that if you do go higher now, then I'm predicting 6 to 7 in the outer years. Well, that could go to 5 to 6.
Right.
So it lessens your exposure.
Well, I think that I'd rather lessen the exposure. I think we could be. I could happily say, let's keep it at 3% now, and then I won't be here, and I don't want
Play
to.
that game.
I don't want to stick anybody like that.
I know people play that game. Right.
Yeah.
Um,
So I would
yeah,
rather.
you know, in the spikes, right? I mean, the spikes aren't going to be nearly as big of a spike.
Exactly.
We're being better schools.
Yeah, I do too.
I think we're maybe up to, I prefer to see maybe 2.5% this year.
You're going the other way.
We're going the other way.
You're going the other way, Scott.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I didn't mean to say 2.5. So, no, I mean, this is what we're doing 3%, but, if it's going to take us to, I mean, we're talking a lot about forecasts. And this forecast, just like the weather in Maine, just really changes all the time. I just don't want us to be in a position where we're sensitive to something that we have to continue to do. And provided the forecast change for the state, it's going to change for us. But I have to do the 3%. I wouldn't want more.
Well, this new number is showing 3.9%, which I think is a good place to be.
That's where the original part of the original part of the conversation was 0.
Yeah, when we first reviewed the budget, it was in that.
Yeah.
When we increased it on the capital.
I agree with them.
And then you brought it up to 3%, which is. What would 3.5 look like?
Going once, going twice.
I know. I think 3.5 is more of an acceptable number for the continuation of the budget as well as for the taxpayers.
Patrick, the overall increase, if it was to 0, was 5.8. Am I correct? That I remember.
It would be 10%.
So by going to 3.5, we're probably taking 40%.
Well, that would, if we don't use any undesignated fund balance, we just budget carry over and everything that we've done from prior years, it would be 9%.
9%?
9.9.
Yeah, so we're taking 10%. I really think, I appreciate what you're saying. Well, we raised money, still over half of that in reserve. You're taking it out of it.
Going to be about be close to, if we do 3.5, the outer year is going to be close to 6%.
So Don and I agree that it should be 4%, but I'm suggesting 3.5% because I think that will not impact our taxpayers as much, and they do expect things to go up. We all do. I think we have to be fair to the county. We have to be fair to our taxpayers.
I don't think we go five. I just yeah. I mean, it's better than zero.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
3.5 would be roughly 528,000 increase. Property.
So can we agree on that?
I could do 3.5, yeah.
3.5? You happy with 3.5?
Just better.
Yeah, I
than
guess so.
0.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean,
All right. We're going to go with
the
3.5.
ball is very murky to me. So,
Yeah.
Well, that's why we revisit every year.
yeah, we revisit it every year, and the general idea is, I understand it, just to make sure I'm getting it, is that we want to spend as much of this as we can to diminish the impact down the road. We want to just level out the increases
Right.
through the use of our
Yeah.
designated funds, and we keep hoping. We hope we keep having this huge balance of undesignated funds, which I guess we get by not spending the money that we appropriate.
Well, if you remember the study that Tim had do the last 10 years, we increased roughly 2.5% average, while the closest county to us was like over 5%. So even if we moved to an average of 5%, we're still like years ahead of a lot of the other counties. And that doesn't include this year, where the majority of them asking for double digits.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing to be a trendsetter in this regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 3.5.
3.5.
Okay. We'll go that way. Thank you. So are we all set with our discussion of the FY27 draft budget?
Oh, please.
Okay, I think so. I hear no dissension, and our next workshop is a discussion on application for opioid settlement funds from Kennebec Behavioral Health. I believe we have our two people from Kennebec Behavioral Health here. If you'd like to stand and introduce yourselves, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Tina Chapman. I'm the Senior Engagement Officer with Kennebec Behavioral Health.
And I'm Robert Rogers, and I'm the Director of Prevention and Risk Reduction.
And we do have a packet of information for each of these.
You could leave two with Patrick, because we have two people who aren't here.
People that
Thank you. They're not here physically, but they are here otherwise.
So thank you for enabling us to come present this idea to you. So Kennebec Behavioral Health, if you're not super familiar with our organization, we've been around for over 65 years. We, in fact, have had a presence in Somerset County since 1970. We are an organization that provides mental health and substance use disorder services. We have a broad range of services that we provide. We have a medication clinic, we have outpatient services, we have case management services, we have an opioid health home that's right here in Skowhegan, and we have residential services as well as community-based services. We also serve all ages, and we provide services to about 19,000 people every year. That's a duplicated number, so that means we have several that have more than one service at a time. So they may be receiving services through our med clinic and also case management services. So we have roughly 9,000 people who are unduplicated. So that's individuals or families that we are serving every single year. So our proposal to you is around an opportunity for the the opioid settlement money to provide some prevention of substance use disorder services throughout Somerset County. And it's an expansion of work that we've been doing for many, many years. We have some significant roots here in Somerset County providing community-based prevention services, and Rob's going to tell you a little bit about what that looks like.
So when you look in your graphic, really looking at the prevention continuum, we have a lot of services right now, specifically at Kennebec Behavioral Health, that are really addressing secondary prevention, and that's really, you can think of that as overdose prevention. So that's how do we prevent deaths, related to we provide a lot of treatment services, and we've really increased our recovery supports. Literally across the street, we have a recovery support center that's operating. And in the past, we've done primary prevention. And primary prevention is really at its roots trying to prevent people from ever engaging in the use of the substances, or at least developing a disorder related to the use. If you think of alcohol, for example, how do I use that in a way where it doesn't cause me or the community any problems? And right now, we do not have any primary prevention funding, so we're really looking to enhance our continuum of services to add that back. We do collaborate with other providers throughout the county. Right now, my understanding is there's only one agency that's currently funded to do primary prevention, and that's Somerset Public Health. We do work with them. We have a Somerset County Substance Use Task Force that they are active in. And in speaking with their director, they're actually in the process of right now of writing their work plans as well. So we communicate to try to avoid duplicating services. They tend to do a lot of work in the schools. I know they do some stuff at the jail. We're looking at how can we provide services in those outlying towns and communities, and really looking at some of the populations that historically haven't been well addressed. One of those is actually our senior population. Prevention is highly funded by grants, and there are very few grants out there that will allow you to provide services to people really over the age of 25. So that's part of what we would like to do. Do you want to discuss that one?
Yeah, I think we can just talk a little bit about, so the opioid settlement funds were established to reduce the harm that's impacted by opioid use and prevent future misuse. And we feel like this is a great opportunity for our organization and our community partners to be able to work towards that mission through our community partnerships and our connections that we're providing treatment services, recovery supports, risk reduction, and overdose prevention. And that's what the opioid settlement funds are meant to do. So we are asking for your investment in the work that our organization is doing in order to meet those objectives.
Some of the things that are in our proposed work plan may be things that you're not familiar with. One of the things you'll see ESPER, that's screening, brief intervention, referral to treatment. So one of the things we're proposing is engaging with community agencies, schools, doctors' offices to really enhance the ESPER. For some people, that is a billable service. So when it happens in a doctor's office, they can bill for that. But there's a lot of people, they don't routinely go to the doctor's office. If they're utilizing healthcare, it's usually in the emergency room. So we're looking at how to engage with other places, other behavioral health agencies, and locations within communities to do that. Roughly about 20% of the population that gets screened is who requires some sort of treatment. The other 80%, they're at a lower level. So when we can have conversations with them early on, they're less likely to progress on to any sort of substance use disorder. So we want to train people to be having these conversations and using evidence-based screening tools. The other thing is Prime for Life. It's a curriculum. It has many different syllabus options, but it is an early intervention. And for people that need treatment, it helps prepare them to enter into treatment and be more successful. So we want to do that with both the adolescent population, but also the adult population. So that's another part of the proposal. And one of the things when Tim reached out to us, he's aware that we are also receiving some Recovery Council funding. That is for a project that is specifically looking at overdose prevention. We are in the process of submitting an application for a needle exchange or syringe service program for Somerset County. And that's really about engaging with people who are engaged in the use of substances, to talk to them about how do they reduce their risk and get them connected to treatment when they're ready for it. So those are things that are in the works now, but that is separate and it is not addressing primary prevention.
One of the things that I wanted to share is the Somerset County Maine Shared Community Health Needs Assessment for 2025. They had identified substance use related injury and death as the second highest priority, only behind mental health as the health condition that was should be prioritized in Somerset County. And then, so one of the things we're asking for, and you can see in your materials, we're asking for about $163,000 for the next fiscal year. And potentially we would need a similar amount for year 2. However, our sustainability plan is that we also are a certified community behavioral health clinic, and we have an opportunity in 2 years to build in all of our prevention services into that part of that funding mechanism. We're not able to do that now because we already have a very specific rate for very specific services. But in 2 years, we can go through a process called rebasing. And at that point, we're planning to roll in all of our prevention work. So this is potentially a 2-year ask. But at that point, we are looking at having the funding within other ways to be able to cover the cost of the services.
So we're receiving how much in opioid funding per year?
150,000.
Oh, less than their ask. And we already have how much designated?
I think we have a balance of roughly 600,000, and 250,000 of that you have designated for opioid subacute use.
Yeah.
Are there other other programs that we're supporting other than the jail?
Not currently. No, I would have to dig into.
That's Somerset Public Health.
We utilize some of it it's really for the jail in the sense of for the actual, let's say, salaries of people that are working at the jail to assist, outside people that are assisting at the jail. So.
Is that a steady revenue stream, or is it?
Is
it one time?
It is for the next, off the top of my head, 5 or 6 years. It's pretty steady, and then it starts to dwindle. But there's new ones coming up. Tim just signed a participation in another 6 cases, so there's more coming in the future, but we don't know. But the new ones sound like more of a one-time payout, because they're smaller amounts, so it seems like it's going to be a lot of one-time payout in these other cases.
So we have $600,000 worth of funds, opium funds, and we get about $150 a year. Is that right?
Correct.
Close enough. So, and our jail program, which I think comes first in the mind of all of us, how much does that cost us every year, and what increases do we envision in the next 3 years?
The sublocade program costs over
$1 million a year?
for the last
Yeah, it's right around, it's a little over $1 million, but we're also utilizing other grants.
Right.
Supplement.
So I guess my point is, how much of this opioid money, I should say, are we using at the jail for the supplicate program each year?
Currently, not much because we have the, let's say, grants.
Yeah.
Well, we only have currently for roughly $390,000 in these grants. We spent $2.5 million for this program since it started 2 years now. So we've spent roughly $2 million worth of grant funding each year. Based on the grants that we have in place right now, we only have $390,000. So that's good for 4 months, 5 months, if we don't get any new grants.
What's our perspective on grants?
Well, there's talk about one right now. I don't know what, but it's, you were part of the conversation this morning. That's not a heavy hitting grant.
I think
And it can be divided amongst has other parties that can contribute to it.
There may be a grant available that we could apply for, and even if we apply for it, we may not get it, or is it?
Right now,
Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, and even if we got it, we wouldn't get the full amount. I think the grant's like $500,000, and and it's going to be divvied up with whatever their decision is.
Mm-hmm.
And back when we started the sublocade, the grants were flowing. The grants are flowing with these.
Right. And just trying to recall, so we're required to do something in the jail, right?
No, so we're
sublocade or something else.
Right.
We
So-
chose to do sublocade.
We decided to do sublocade because we were using Suboxone, and the diversion rate was high.
Right.
The fighting inside the pods.
But we're required to do something.
by law, we're required to do MAT.
Okay. So we've got to do something, and we've chose sublocade. It's working the best.
Yeah, we haven't had
gotta make sure
it
that's
death upon since we started the program. Knock on wood. We haven't had a death upon release since using it.
Well, in best of all possible worlds, I mean, the opioid settlement funds are for the kind of programs that you're suggesting, both at the jail and at formerly known as Kennebec Valley Mental Health,
And behavioral health, yeah.
a institution close and dear to me because I was on that board for 10 years and I think I'm on a slack somewhere down there. I mean, I guess the bottom line is, what can we afford? I mean, if we're spending it all in the jail,
Right.
do we have to do that? Can we
Well,
do both? I mean, isn't that what we're trying to decide?
like I said, currently we've got the exact numbers. We've got 660,000 in opioid funds. We got 390,000 in grant funding. So you basically have a year.
That's 1 year.
That's 1 year's worth of something.
And we're only receiving 150,000 a year.
Right.
So we're going to have to start picking up 850,000 if we don't pick up
Well,
the grant.
In a lot of moving parts. In part, I felt sublocade was extremely important for not only for success at the end, but also for insecurity reasons inside the jail. So there's this 1115 waiver that's out there. That's I've been told it's in the hands of the feds right now. That will help us out quite a bit. So a lot of these grants, some of them were cobbled together to get us through that as a bridge to get us to 1115. Having said that, I don't know. What I don't know is how long it's going to be, or if that will be accepted by the feds. Though it's been accepted by the feds in 8 or 10 other states, doesn't necessarily mean that Maine will be accepted into the program.
What he's talking about is Maine Care will take over the cost of it.
Because once you get release, right, Maine Care will, and we have had a high, I don't have the number right in front of me, but we have had high, once they leave the jail, because the shot's good for 28 days, we've had a high percentage of people getting a second shot.
Can you detail the number of people, your only version was how many people with this money? How many people are you treating currently in your program? Those kinds of things.
I know that. I know.
Yeah, so I think that it depends on the program. And, but roughly of the probably 9,000 people that I referenced earlier, probably about 35 to 40% of those folks are Somerset County. And so we would be strictly using the funding to provide services within Somerset County. It would not be provided in other counties because we can keep it separated.
And have you asked Somerset County or the other counties that you do business in, are you asking them the same ask?
So we have not, but what we do is we have an ask out to a lot of the municipalities, such as the city of Waterville, and we've worked in the past with the city of Augusta, and so depending on where, what they have for funding and where their interests are, we will connect with them and work with them, but it's difficult sometimes depending on what folks' priorities are in terms of what they're willing to do. For us, the reason that we thought of the Somerset County Commissioners is because we have such a strong program in Somerset County that we want to see continue, and we felt that you probably would be interested in supporting that through the opioid settlement money that you have accumulated so far.
And Dale, this is affecting you directly, sir. Keep your input on this.
Well, not that they don't have a good program. I do not want to give up any of my Sublocade revenue that come in because the shot is so expensive.
I concur. Well, what I would suggest is continue utilizing the opioid funds for the Sublocade until that waiver comes through. And when that waiver comes through, then that opens the doors on utilizing the funds for other organizations.
Is that the same waiver we've been waiting for since I've been a county commissioner?
Yes.
The speed of government.
Is there any progress noted, or is
Well, I know that the state has, there's meetings on it regularly. There's meetings on it. But the feds do now have it. The state has done what they're supposed to do. It's gone out. And under the state's plan, it comes to MDOC first and then goes to the counties.
Yeah.
Even though
is there a is there sort of a if you realize you couldn't get all this money from Somerset County, is there a lesser amount, or is there a particular program that complements what we do at the jail that would make sense and would be affordable for us? Is there any kind of just sort of an all or nothing deal, or?
It's not an all or nothing deal. I think that we could tailor things based on what your interests are. And I was just thinking about, would it be ESPER, or would that be the program that would be most appropriate?
I think it's the furthest reaching strategy when you can get other people trained to really engage in those conversations and starting at a young age, but continuing through into adults. I think that has the biggest impact. And then it becomes sustainable as well because you're training others to do it.
Well, this is we're just workshopping this. So I mean, I'm almost thinking if you folks sat down with Tim and Pat and maybe modified your request or had a sharper focus on a particular, again, aspect that would dovetail, work, make complement what we do with the jail. It seems to me that kind of request might have more traction here than this one does, which I think is kind of, it doesn't sound like we can really afford to do it and also keep our. So this would.
But you reach out to all the municipalities in the county, and I'm embarrassed to say that Fairfield did not participate. Have you reached out to them, all these municipalities again for 2026?
Yeah.
And what was the feedback you've gotten from them at this point?
Some of them don't, they're all different, as you know. Some of them don't even allow for community organizations to request money. Some of them require petition signatures that are difficult for us to get depending on which town it is. And some of them have other requirements or restrictions that we may or may not. So we apply to all the ones that we can. And then, and then some of them are willing to provide some funding. Usually what we do when we go to the municipalities is we talk about how many residents we're serving and which programs that we're providing services
But
to.
are you asking for opioid settlement funds?
No.
Okay, that's what I mean, it seems to me that the whole basis for opioid settlement funds is to get these funds out in the community to address the problem of opioid addiction.
Right.
And we have a program here at the jail which is quite expensive, thanks to our insurance numbers, et cetera, and so that's a big competitor of yours, obviously. But it seems to me that the general idea of using opioid settlement funds to address opioid addiction, that's kind of makes sense to me. And that's what you're proposing. You're not proposing to fund the mental health center for community support.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's something. If you had specific requests that we could afford, that was very targeted, that worked with what we do in the that would make sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to anybody else, but that's where I'm coming from.
Well, I agree with the sheriff and Patrick that we can't afford to give up the opioid money because we need it for the sublocade. I don't want to. If we gave up some of the opioid fund money, that means we go back to the taxpayers, which means that we're double taxing the taxpayers. So it makes it hard for me to do that.
Yeah. It's something that's
But I want to thank you for coming in.
But I'll just say this. I mean, I don't disagree with what you said. I mean, the jail comes first. I'm just wondering if we've accumulated $600,000 in there, we're getting $150,000 a year. At the present time, we are not spending all of our opioid funds.
Actually, we are.
We're spending $1 million a year.
Then why do we have $600,000?
We don't.
Because we haven't spent it yet?
Because we had a lot of grants when we started the program.
But
We don't
okay.
have the grants.
So we're just predicting that henceforward there will be no more grants, and that's what we're operating on. Even though that has not been
What I said is, for this point in time, there's nothing in the pipeline. We should make that decision. If in the future we come across a $2 million grant for sublocade, then it's there. But the grants are drying up. The grants 2 years ago, there was quite a few of them. If you look now, there isn't. And
Yeah, I just we can only, that's just the last topic we had. You can only predict the future so much. There's a dire prediction that we'll never get another nickel from a grant, and we'll have to use up all this money, and when it's gone, we'll have to shut down the program. That's the one prediction, and the other prediction is we'll continue to stumble, bum our way, get money from here and there, and keep our program going, and use opiate settlement funds and grants and the kind of mix we've had, and I know there have been times in the past where it's looked pretty dire, and sometimes it looks better. The only thing I was suggesting was if there was a lower number that we could do on like a 1-year basis to support a valuable community program for opioid relief, or whatever you want to call it, we ought to at least consider it, and not just say we need every nickel for this, no matter what. I think we should kind of take a big picture on this.
Yeah, that is totally up to
Okay.
you. Just voice it.
My thought would be more when that, I would say it would be worth everybody's while if and when that waiver comes through to revisit it.
Right.
Until that happens, we're going to have to raise taxes to keep the Sublocade program going under the current circumstances at some point in the near future. There are no, with the grant money that is running out, there's no doubt that it's running out, and $150,000 a year, and it costs $1 million. Numbers don't add up. Keep Sublocade going, and I feel that's the priority.
We appreciate the work that you do. I think it's great work. And like I said, I'm embarrassed for Fairfield for not, that's the town I'm from, for not providing you the money. I noticed it. It's still again, it did not provide money for whatever reasons. But kudos to Canaan. They did.
Well, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. And we'll be in touch with Tim just to let him know I'm sure you will as well.
Please do.
Yeah, please do.
So if I may move on to, there's no public hearings, new agenda items, commissioners only. And the administrator's report, administrator is in Augusta.
So I just got a text from Sheriff Morton and the county administrator at Corral back at E and Sonia Millet are back in front of criminal justice to talk the workshop on the additional funds in the supplemental for the jails. So
So they're back in the workshop.
he's back in the workshop.
Good. All right. And we lost Patrick for our finance report, so I'm going to have the sheriff give us his report.
We are now in the second week of 24-hour day coverage in the county. It appears to be going okay. I've had to make some personnel adjustments to make that work. We have a couple people in the academy, someone's out on medical leave, and a couple in the FTO program. So I like to use the word they're on the sideline until I can put them into the rotation. I've had to adjust the schedule a little bit, but I'm working through that. I'm being told that it's working well. Right now in the legislature, we're working with LD 2508, how counties work with feds. That's still going on.
No. And I think MCCA is in league.
Yeah, I mean, there has been a violation working through that process.
Oh, good. Any questions? All set? Seeing none, I'll go back to the finance report. We've heard enough.
Put a fork in.
Yeah. Good. David.
She's pretty quiet right now. Get the normal calls, Census Department calls every month. I talked to them today. Got calls from property owners looking for information, banks looking for information, but normal stuff, nothing else.
Road postings.
That's in Phil's hands. You know, basically he takes care of all that.
Yeah.
I did have a call from DOT today. Somebody was complaining about someone cutting down trees along the road without a flagger, so they were kind of in the roadway and people complaining. But
Yeah.
you know, that would make sure who it was, and what's in that contract, I believe.
Yeah.
And where that bridge replacement that you have referred to, a couple meetings ago,
The what?
bridge replacement that you were talking about? Bridge.
Oh, bridge. I haven't had any updates on that. We're waiting for a quote from our contractor, our engineer, I should say, Calderwood Engineering. They will be providing us with the plans for the bridge and estimated costs. We did approve them, you know, their cost to do that. Yeah.
Any other questions or concerns for David, our UT director? Seeing none, and not missing anybody else, we can go on to new business. Resolution 2644 to authorize the promotion of Deputy William Crawford IV to Patrol Sergeant, or is it Sergeant, at the Somerset County Sheriff's Office.
That is a misspelling.
See that? I have a motion. Do I have a second? I see a second from Don. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Let's go. Thank you. Resolution 2645 to approve the hire of Trey Banks as the Somerset County Deputy Sheriff.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? To go. Resolution 2646 to authorize the termination of a Somerset County Corrections Officer for failure to complete mandatory training.
So moved.
In a second, over here, any discussion? Anything you can elaborate on?
Not.
No? Okay. All in favor? We have, it's a go. Resolution 2647 to accept the resignation of Somerset Jail Administrator Michael Welch.
So moved.
Moved in second. Discussion.
Yikes. Was it effective?
Yes and no. And then we can talk offline about.
Personnel issues, so that would be confidential anyway. There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Resolution 2648 to authorize posting for the following positions at the Somerset County Jail: Jail Administrator and Programs Direct Officer.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Is that one position or two?
No, that's two positions.
Two positions. Following positions.
The program,
I saw that. Didn't know.
the program development officer is a position that it's within our complement, but it needs to be filled.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, let's go. Thank you. Resolution 2649 to pay from community benefit the following matching grants: Maine Antique Tractor Club, $4,000. Moved. Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? It's a go. Thank you. Resolution 2650 to approve a draft of the FY27 Somerset County budget to send to the Budget Committee.
At 3.5%. Correct.
At 3.5%.
15,524,075.02.
And that removed the,
That removes the little county extension, that thing too. Right?
Do that too.
Okay.
all right. So we do realize that's in there.
Subject to
That
that
removal.
verbal.
The amended version of the budget
Right.
at the 3.5%.
Right. You ready for that?
No.
He's got to, yeah. You actually got to say the actual number.
Right. That's why I was
He's
waiting.
got to enter the actual number into the record.
Yep.
That's working.
His legs is a bit longer than mine, so if he's still scrolling, I might be.
Find the department.
Take it.
Extension.
1421-508. Is that enough?
Yeah, that's where I was when I opened it. I gotta change it. I got the.
Sheriff, what committee is 2508 in? That's judiciary?
So I believe it's,
Public safety, isn't it?
I think it's in criminal justice.
Yeah, that's funny.
Criminal justice, public safety.
But they bounce back and forth now between judicial and.
Right, oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and criminal
Keep you running around the halls.
And then they go to appropriations.
justice.
Yeah.
Any kind of feedback on how it went?
Not officially. Unofficially, I believe criminal justice, it's a one-time deal for the 8 million state law. So take that number to $28.2 million, which would bring it up to about 19%, 20% of the state's contribution. It's fallen now to under 14% that the states contribute to their responsibility. What's that? Well, so technically, yeah. So technically, yes. But we will have a new governor, new legislature. We're going to have to educate them all again. But the groundwork has been laid to justify it.
Yeah, I have one quick question on not to go back and bring it back in a little bit. The data that the judge can only handle cases a month, but as we staff this up, are we going to put these through the week?
I'm not hearing you exactly. You could try it one more time.
The judge, when we were talking to the judge, they said that they handled 7 cases a month. The district attorney was in, so she was trying. Detectives to our courts. We adding more to the funnel, we can't get through.
Potentially, I mean, potentially doesn't mean that the crime isn't happening. What I do, as I've told the budget committee, I've told you all before, we have a lot of cases in the queue that we just can't get to. Our detective that does crimes against person has 18 open cases backlogged right now for child abuse cases. I got to clean some of that up.
Also, Don, I mean, the fact that they try 7 cases a month or whatever it said, that's not indicative of how many cases they actually dispose of monthly on a yearly basis, which is numbers in the hundreds of thousands, because most of the cases are resolved by pleas. And a good detective that puts a good case together is you're going to get a plea on it, not a trial, ordinarily. speaking. It's usually the case. So, I don't think they do that.
Are we ready?
Yeah. $15,523,328.42.
So move what he said to the budget committee.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All in favor. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
We go. And that's okay. Capital Reserve Expenditures, Resolution 2651 to authorize a transfer of capital funds to pay for a boiler repair at the Somerset County Jail up to $48,077.
So move.
Discussion.
That's one heck of a boiler here.
Yeah, so what it is
More than a gate.
it is the master control panel, it's the original panel. I like you said, it was like $58,000. It's original equipment. If the boilers, so we have 5, we've taken off the 2 big boilers, we've gone to 5 more efficient boilers. But if this computer doesn't tell, they don't all run together. And if it shuts down, the place will get, before the place gets cold, it goes through the air exchangers on the roof, and there's no antifreeze in there. So if in fact they freeze, we're going to have major issues. And this control panel operates all of this.
Because we spent a fair amount of money a number of years ago. Was this the same system that we?
Yeah, so we replaced the boilers.
Yes.
The boilers we replaced, what we didn't replace at the time was the master control panel that monitors, controls, all that system.
So is this one of the unexpected capital expenditures?
Yes, we did. I asked that.
Our rainy day fund that we're working on is going to take it.
It's going to evaporate that.
It just stopped.
All right.
Any further inquiries, questions, comments? All in favor? Good. I like that. Sorry. You're so that's a go. No unorganized territory. Warrants. Resolution 2652 to approve the treasurer's warrant for general funds, Somerset County Jail, unorganized territories, and TIF community benefits for a total amount of $690,003.11.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? It's a go. Miscellaneous discussion items, commissioners only.
Thanks for letting me come in on this.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. We're glad you made it. So call your legislators, write to your newspaper about the positions that we have before legislature. And
You get that?
Different department.
so. And right now we'll recess to execute documents.
Commissioner Village, I thought you were replacing Warren.
I'm in the rain and the design of
Well, I see you in your jacket. I'm thinking, what?
Second. John, would you care to do that? Those two?
I need it.
And there's more for us here.
Yeah, I like to.
So just let me know tomorrow or next day. What you want to do.
What did I just do there? What is it?
You want me to do it?
That's the contract.
I will do
Don't,
Oh, there's more.
Which,
Fine.
the contract is under there.
He was at our report.
Well, pick up the phone, I figured it was.
Yes.
I think that's our communication.
Well, he had a mission.
Okay, you can sign it now. All right, and we have some more here.
So, I didn't really understand the opening thing. So we saying that we just want to read through everything we have?
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Could they bring a lawsuit? You can't do that?
No.
Opiate funds that are.
No, the opiate funds are designated to us. We are using it for that.
How many people do you serve?
Well, we have over 120.
Say for purpose of discussion.
So the discussion would be is, do you want to raise taxes another?
No, I might just kill the program. I might put them back on, whatever, just to meet our,
You just said
our, you know,
Yeah, okay.
I mean, if we're looking at a really expensive program, I mean, it'd be nice if we could all send them to Hawaii for 6 months too. We can't afford it.
Well, we can send them to Hawaii one way.
Yeah, well, that's good.
But I mean, if the general consensus is we can't afford that, then why are we going to give money to an additional thing at the same time?
Yeah.
That doesn't-
But if we don't, the other, okay. Discussion.
There's some signatures there. There's got all three of us.
They want it-
He's working on that. He's working on the contract and the other.
Oh, now does he have to do this one? Oh, I can do it on here.
Yeah, there should be three.
I have to type it.
Okay.
All scribbles.
There's all the purples.
There you go.
These are all the scribbles.
Yeah, we're all scribbled up.
It's,
And three scribbles.
but I'm just saying,
And
you go,
did you do
let's
this
say,
one?
we're a well-established
Okay.
mental health
John,
addiction treatment.
before you go any further, if I may, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
So, we
All,
are a
all in favor may leave, all opposed may stay.
another organization, 50-year track record of doing it. And so Somerset County